Howdy, welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana Chu here at Slow Gaze. I have another declutter for you. I bring this to you from the past. Filming on November 1st, and in just a few days here in the United States where I'm at, I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, going through the general election for our next presidential candidate in this tumultuous week to come. So what's so exciting about this, at least for me, is that come Wednesday, which is my usual posting schedule, I will not know right now who our next president is going to be. It gives me a lot of buoyancy, a lot of levity in my ignorance, my current ignorance, because I know next week is going to be a tough one. Whoever gets elected, I pray for them. Quite literally, I pray for the individual who has to face such a divided America. And with that really happy note, let us move into my makeup collection. I'm not trying to sweep anything under the rug here on Slow Gaze. I like to slow down and turn the gaze inwards. And right now, many of you may be turning outwards or turning towards things that are familiar and comforting, like this YouTube video, to help cope. I've been excited for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment. All of my declutters prior have been leading up to this. If you haven't seen them, I've linked them down below. You can see sort of their progression. As I build up to my massive one, the eyeshadow declutter, that was basically the mother lode of palettes, which is my kryptonite. I've gotten better and better at decluttering. I've used that muscle, strengthened that muscle. I really wouldn't recommend anyone who hasn't been decluttering in this way before to just go and tackle their entire collection, because it really does feel overwhelming. After a certain point, I can feel when my decision fatigue kicks in. I can tell when I'm starting to hear voices in my head, not literally just voices of guilt or people saying you should keep that because, or, you know, especially the most iconic, expensive palettes like a Pat McGrath Mothership palette. I can hear so many people in the background when I pick that palette up saying like, why would you get rid of that? You know, there's so much noise. So I want to empower you on your own decluttering journey if that is indeed what you're doing. And before we dive in, I know this is a long intro, but I guess this is what you came here for this channel. And maybe if you didn't, I just want to take this time to say, it's okay to take the long road. We're not here to just always have such immediate feedback or immediate pleasure. And I know I'm serving up some sort of pleasure or entertainment, but the idea of watching someone else declutter, is it because you yourself are going through this journey, or is it because you see this and you're like, wow, I actually don't have that much makeup, I'm saved, or some kind of mode of comparison to conspicuous consumption. Once we see someone who has clearly, and I'm pointing clearly at myself, I am someone who has clearly bought too much makeup for one person to use. I am not a makeup artist. I don't have siblings. So this is literally all for myself. It makes me feel a lot of feelings. I am disgusted, I'm dismayed, I'm surprised. I never used to be like this. I didn't wear makeup in high school. What got me here was patterns of behavior that were misplaced. I definitely think that I tried to buy things just in order to fill a void or fill a need that was created for me by marketers, by capitalism, I guess, you know. And being on YouTube now, I've only been here for a few months, and I've been watching a lot more YouTube. I don't know if you have been. That has definitely ramped up my consumption, and I don't want to be a channel that helps perpetuate that. I've been clear about that on a lot of my videos. I'm happy to reiterate it here. So if you are interested in seeing my entire makeup collection, all in all, seeing me declutter maybe another 50%, I don't know. Again, the numbers don't matter. The real work is in my heart, in my mind, and on my journey. Let's say 50%. Don't hold me to that. Give this video a like if you found it useful, or, you know, drop me a comment and tell me what you've been up to. Are you on a minimalist journey like I am? How has this helped you? And what kind of behaviors you might want to try to correct. And with that, dive right in. I have all of my makeup in front of me. My goal is, again, to be really utilitarian with my makeup and to love everything I pick up. I don't want any residual guilt feelings or, oh, I should use that more feelings. I did used to have a makeup purgatory space, and I had another makeup purgatory space, which was here. Unfortunately, I didn't have the foresight to not mix things around before this video, So everything that was in here I actually moved around, so I can't tell you what was in here. You'll just have to watch the previous video. All right, these are all of my eye products. Now that I've had a little bit of space from my past declutters and I've been using my stuff, I realized that honestly, the wool has been pulled from my eyes. I basically feel like I don't need 90% of what I've already kept. I'm gonna start with what I deemed to be probably one of the better methods for myself, and that's to first go in and pick out the ones that you or I feel the most gravity towards, the ones that I know that I cannot live without, quote unquote, live without. So rust, definitely keeping that. Same with this Emma Beauty Black Magic Poise palette. This is probably my ride or die palette. These two are the only ones I would probably need. I also know that I want to keep the Mothership palette, the original blue Color Story one. Definitely want to keep this Natasha Denona Lila palette, the one that I rejigged. Also her gold palette I'm not through with yet. I do not want to get rid of these two melt palettes, Gemini and Smoke Sessions. Again, with these declutters, I've discovered that I don't need to tell the backstory of every single item, and I don't need to justify my decision making to anyone but myself. So I'm also going to keep this pumpkin spice one. I think it's really fun for this season. It brings me a lot of joy. I want to keep for sure Kosas Globe, the 10-second eyeshadow. Victoria Beckham's Lid Lusters in Mink and Midnight. For sure want to keep both of these Tom Ford No Reflection here and Naked Bronze. These are definitely staying. MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, Tom Ford in Spice, and Tom Ford in Abyssinian. These are two different formulas and two different sizes. I am going to keep Victoria Beckham's Tweed as well as Rowan Beauty's gorgeous 75-degree palette. Still can't get away from the Chanel Candor et Experience here. And I said time and time before that I wasn't going to declutter my Charlotte Tilbury stack of skyscrapers until I did a video on all of them and talking about why I would keep certain ones over the others, but they're literally just sitting in my collection and I haven't done that video yet. So maybe this is it. This is the time that I tell you why I keep certain ones over the others. I know for sure I'm gonna keep the Golden Goddess. Ta-da! Very neutral, love her. I am not gonna keep Exaggerize. It comes out way too bricky and salmon toned almost on my eyes. Probably not gonna keep the Luxury Palette of Pops. I'm going to keep the Bella Sophia, a warmer sister to the Golden Goddess. Pillow Talk Palette of Pops, gonna pass on. Gonna pass on the Rock Chick as well. I just never use this. Pillow Talk Original. Love it, but don't use it anymore. Wow, I am burning through these, baby. And Desert Haze, I really don't think these are as blendable as people are saying. I have so many of these colors elsewhere. Goodbye. Ah, Queen of Glow. I actually really love this. I know it's very warm toned, but this color here, this burgundy, is actually quite special on the eyes. I like it. I'm gonna keep it. I find it extremely flattering. And then this is the Super Blue, which I am also keeping. Okay, wow, that was way easier than I thought. That was 4 that I'm definitely keeping. I am gonna keep the Dior Mono Shadow in Cosmopolite, I think. This is this very mysterious pink and silver and taupe shade that actually does look very gorgeous on the lids. I was mesmerized when Michelle Wang here on YouTube, she put it on her eyes and I was like, wow, I have to have it. I am still gonna keep this Westman Atelier Chocolat shade. That already feels really, really good. My powers are waning. I need to be careful. This is like the danger zone. So I'm gonna move on to things that I know for sure I can get rid of. That's also my second tip for when you're decluttering like this. It's really helpful to have that most resolute cut and dry black and white things. Just go straight for the jugular in your declutters on both sides, if that made sense. I know I can get rid of these 2 singles, the Marc Jacobs, the Big O a Tint from MAC. They're a little peachy. I don't find them to be quite my skin tone perfect. I can't get rid of the Kosas Supreme. Very shimmery, but I just don't need it. I'm gonna put all of these Charlotte Tilburys that I said no to in this little basket here as well. I know I can get rid of these two MAC paint pots, Groundwork and Land Low. I can also get rid of this Disco Eye Universal. I did try this e.l.f. Truffles bite-sized eyeshadow palette. That was part of my low buy budget. I just am not reaching for it, even in the short time that I've owned it. I don't need to keep Casino by Tom Ford. I can definitely get rid of this. I've been keeping this forever and ever. It's Moss Bare Minerals, one of their OG shades back in, I don't know, 2013. They don't make this shade anymore. Holding on to it for purely sentimental reasons. I can get rid of this Nars Afterglow palette. Nothing wrong with her. I think it can go to a better home, as can a lot of these. I am gonna keep Shoes and Parties. I'm not gonna keep Mercury Retrograde. Every time I put this on, even though this is one of my fewer used palettes because I just bought it recently, it's just been powdery. I can't stand any of these mattes, unfortunately. In full disclosure, I did buy the Naughty Nudes off of Sephora's website literally today. It's November 1st. I am going to say goodbye to that so that I can make room for this new palette in my life. I'm going to keep these both for now. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. I know I said I'd never get rid of it just because of the packaging, but now that I think back to that reasoning, it's absolutely against my actual philosophy of makeup. Like, if I'm gonna keep it, why would I keep one physical thing to hold on to just because it looks cool? I mean, it could be anything, like a plant, you know? It doesn't have to be this man-made plastic thing hold and arrest my attention, you know? I'm gonna get rid of this ColourPop Lightning Bug, and now we're in that makeup purgatory area. I'm literally going to keep every single one of my eyeliners. I have some eyeliners and some lip liners in here. I think I can get rid of this lip liner, but the rest I'm gonna keep. I think that's pretty reasonable. I am gonna get rid of this. Totally unused, someone can use it. It's one of my favorite mascaras that are conventional of all time. If you have Asian lashes, take note. And now for the maybes, I'm gonna scooch in. I'm gonna keep this, the Eyes to Mesmerize Marie Antoinette. I love a good moussey base. It's very taupe. Going to get rid of these two Natasha Denona diamond toppers. We have Full Metal Bronze, which is one of my favorite one and done shadows, but honestly I have so many to begin with that one can go. And then this one is also gorgeous, but I just don't use it as much. I am gonna do some swatching just for these two shades here, the Nars Castaway, and I think it's called Shakam. Wow, they're actually really, really different. I don't know if you can tell, but the one that's reading almost like a gold, that's Castaway, and then the one that has completely dissolved into dolphin shimmers. I don't know why I called them dolphin shimmers. It just reminds me of sun or moonlight glinting off of really hot water. That one, that's Silver Cast, that one is the Shakam shade. To be real, if I had to swatch them and I didn't even know what they looked like, that probably means that I shouldn't keep them because I don't use them. So let me put them in the goodbye pile. Honestly, if I haven't used them and I give them away, I probably will not miss them. And here's a little quirky just because it's fun to swatch things. I do like this a lot, but it's very peach toned in the base, so maybe I will give this away too. One tray down. I know I did a full video on this, the Anna Frozen 2 palette, which is really, really gorgeous. I might keep this actually. Pure by Rob Beauty Christie. I do really love this palette, but I don't know how to use the colors that much. And this, while it is yellow toned, and I love that, I just don't use these two shades here. I find myself having a lot of these shades in my other palettes, so sadly this might also be bye-bye. Okay, I'm not convinced to get rid of this yet, nor am I convinced to let go of this B&H Sugar Cone. This is like my perfect neutral. But I say that and I'm like, if this is my perfect neutral, then why would I need to keep this? Maybe it's because there's a brush and I had such good experience with Naked palettes. Gonna get rid of this Aether Beauty Joshua Tree. I love it, but I just don't use it. Still into this palette just for these two shades. Does that warrant me to keep it? or not? Probably not. Probably not. And it might be painful to get rid of right now. That pain is gonna help me not overbuy things that just don't fit my lifestyle anymore, right? So this ruthlessness is actually good conditioning. So that means I should probably let go of this. It makes me want to use it every time I use it, but I never reach for it. Same with this poor girl. She is just stunning. She was my first Pat McGrath full-sized palette, the Bronze Seduction, and I just don't know how to use it. I just don't use it. I keep this around because of this trichrome, and I just don't use her either. I have to be 100% brutally honest with myself. So, oh, she's going over there. And that means I'm gonna keep this for sure. Still not sure about this Tom Ford African Violet. Let me put her in the giveaway pile for now and then just see from there. That's that. This is all the makeup that I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna put my singles on this tray. Oh my God, this is so much better. 1 single Dior and 4 Charlotte Tilburys. That feels really good. Palettes. Okay, so these are the ones I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna put all the ones I'm not gonna keep into a basket right now. It's so hard to get rid of Pat McGrath, eh? I don't know why I was conditioned to think that it was okay to buy a palette that was $125. The more I think about it, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I was looking at my husband, Ben, and I was looking at his beautiful face, and it had not a zip of makeup on it, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wow, he can be beautiful without makeup. Why do I feel like I have to be beautiful only with makeup on? He must have married me for some other reason. And that was such a revelation. Like, I would never want Ben to feel like he had to wear makeup to look beautiful. I would never want to put makeup on him unless he wanted it to enhance his features, because to me, they're already beautiful. Like, I was thinking about his really long lashes and I was like, wow, I would never want him to put mascara to make them darker, fuller. It just would feel so artificial. Not artificial because I'm not conditioned to see men in that way necessarily, or not to see cisgendered, male-presenting men in that way. It would just look very stark against his natural features. Then I was thinking about how if I did put mascara on him, I'd probably want to put like a little dash of lip gloss or blush. Like, it all starts to unravel and snowball in a way that if you put one thing on and it looks too stark, it helps to put more things on, and then soon you're in the never-ending battle of how much makeup do you really need on your face to look good, when actually he looks great with absolutely nothing. So I'm trying to keep that mindset in mind whilst I look at all this makeup. This is the stuff that's going. This is the stuff that's staying. We'll move on to the next category. So I kept 20 palettes, 20 eyeshadow palettes, and I feel really, really good about that. If you haven't seen my declutter from a few months ago, that had, I think, over 78 palettes. The more you move in a direction of either minimalism or maximalism, the more you'll want to cull/buy. So I remember having so many palettes and only wanting more, and now it's absolutely flipped. I think that's called the Diderot effect. One item can be so powerful as to change the context of your entire possessions and immediate surroundings to make you want to either fill the void and match whatever you bought. Like, let's say I bought a really expensive rug and then I noticed that my furniture was not quite in step with that aesthetic. I would try to buy new furniture, and then with that I'd buy new lighting and etc. The same is true in a reversed sense, right? Decluttering things that are societally encoded into our understanding of like self and image, because, you know, buying makeup for me as a woman, I feel really natural and familiar with that feeling. I feel like I should want makeup. I feel like I should buy makeup. And to declutter, that's not something that has been encoded in me. That's just something that I've started to do after watching YouTube. I'm grateful for this movement of declutter here on YouTube, but I also think that's just, you know, the symptom of having too much. Sometimes you have to have it all before you can realize that actually it's an empty promise and that the journey towards your own personal goals is actually the reward. Anyway, this is my face stuff, my face pigments, if you will. We have highlighters, we have bronzers, and we have blushes. Used to I had to do blushes, then bronzers, then highlighters like separate. But right now, if I were to do my method again and start with the ones that I know I absolutely use all the time, I can actually think in my head like, oh, where's that specific one? For instance, where's that specific, oh God, now I see it, I can't find it. The Patrick Ta. This is the one that if I had to choose just one, She's So LA, this is the shade that I think is that perfect balance of tawny and sunburny and a little bit bronzer toned. Sorry, had to figure out my camera there for a second. Where was I? Definitely keeping her. I know I always use this new Westman Atelier Peau de Pêche Super Loaded Highlight, Nars Deep Throat, and Luster, in contrast to this pink and this Faded Clementine. These are both, this is Magic Hour and Clementine, both from M Cosmetics. These kind of serve the same purpose, so I'm gonna think about whether or not I can get rid of one or the other. I'm going to say goodbye to this Tower 28 Beach Please Golden Hour. Definitely don't need that. Going into this bin, definitely keeping the RMS Grande Dame Luminizing Powder, one of the most natural looking highlights I have ever seen, alongside this Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. Also keeping this crazy toned shade of highlight. It's like pink, gray, silver, and brownish almost. It's like taupe. It's gorgeous. Dose of colors, there you have it. Cannot not have this Raw Honey Melt. Gonna keep the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer here. I've been using that quite a bit. Also definitely gonna keep this Dior Independence blush, which is just this crazy cool toned brown blush, quote unquote, which I totally use as a bronzer. The Le Beige highlighter in Pearly Glow. I've been using this every single day. I know I'm gonna keep one of these, so that's kind of in the maybe pile. Now for the ones that I know I can get rid of. Literally bought this but never use it. It's the Chantecaille highlighter. Let's all take a moment here to appreciate how beautiful it is. But then when I swatch it, it has like this dusty, powdery, peachy glow that I just don't think I need. Off to a Better Home. Madeira bronzer I just don't use over all the other ones. Same with Natasha Denona's gorgeous Bloom palette. Really special, but I'm just not reaching for it. Same with this Burt's Bees blush. Again, that kind of serves the same purpose as these two peachy ones. Moving swiftly along, I know that I'm not using this Lila Bee's Bee Sunkissed bronzer duo. Have not been reaching for Very Charming either. This is a dip brow. Why is this here? I know that can go. There's so many that I swore back when I did my declutters that I just could not get rid of. But right now, I feel like I'm enlightened and I don't feel like I'm overboard. Honestly, I think I've just recalibrated to a new normal, and I can't believe that I couldn't let go of more things, if you know what I mean. I'm not just decluttering for the sake of decluttering. Like literally, I have so much makeup to begin with. I'm gonna be just fine. So this is definitely a maybe. These two are maybes. This is a maybe. Oh, this one's really hard to get rid of. This is the Chantecaille Coral Duo and Highlight, which I just have not been using because the formula, maybe it's just better with someone else. Oh, I'm so sad to get rid of it, but again, it's just stuff. Okay, let me put her in there and not think about it. Just keep going. Butter bronzer, love her. But I think I can make do without her. These are the, I actually haven't kept a bronzer per se yet, except the Film Star Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. So let's see here. These are all very different. The Nabla is quite similar to this Dior. If you see, they're kind of in the same family. So I'm gonna say goodbye to Soft Revenge. Maybe I have to keep her. so hard. And then Fenty I do really love, so I'm gonna keep that. The Charlotte Tilbury, like I love it and I want to keep using it, but it's just not my favorite. It's not like one that I'm like, wow, I have to have for all of entirety. So I'm gonna put her away for now. Yeah, okay, just say goodbye. Just try to focus on the ones you literally are reaching for all the time. This is one that's really tough for me because I actually do use it more than it looks, but do I need it? As for these, ooh, maybe a quick swatch party. They're so comparable. They're so comparable. It's amazing. I think I'm gonna keep this for sure. Say goodbye to Deep Throat. Keep Luster, but also keep Faded Clementine. They actually are quite different. They're actually quite different. This has a lot more shimmer to it. And then I'm not sure. I really don't know about this one. If I have to think about it this much, it usually means that I probably don't need it. So, just gonna keep these. If you've been watching my channel and you know that lip products and eyeshadow palettes are absolutely my kryptonite, I've been looking at my face a little bit more from all this filming and editing, and I am recognizing that I am getting older and that my lips just aren't as plump and defined as they used to be. I'm trying to be more forgiving on my lips and just wear like a gloss or a more neutral shade, and then if I want to really go for it, I can have just like one or two really special bold lipstick colors. Already I know that I got this Tom Ford sample in Casablanca and I just haven't opened it. Put that immediately in the goodbye bin. Get rid of the ones that I know I could just get rid of. Let's say, unfortunately I just bought this. It is the Le Rouge Lip Stylo. The lip stylo in Alex. Gorgeous cartridge, but it's just too pink for me. It reminds me of Posy Cave from Kylie Cosmetics a little bit, plus a bit of Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. That's the trouble with not being able to see things in person nowadays, right? I just don't use this as much either. The Rowan Kiss My Lips lip balm in Remy, even though it's the perfect nude, I just don't reach for it. Velvet Decade from Lisa Eldridge. Again, this is one that I just recently bought and just tried. It hasn't even made it to my channel yet, but I know that I can get rid of it because I have so many other shades that are similar that I know I like more. The ones that I know I have to keep, Lisa Eldridge in Velvet Fawn. This is fast becoming one of my favorite lipsticks of all time. She is the perfect peachy nude for me, which means I can get rid of this Kosas Vegas, which you'll see is a very similar shade, but she's kind of fallen off her horse there. Say goodbye to her. It is my goal to just keep this number of lipsticks here, and then I'll have a little pot for the taller ones. This is something that I'm trying to shade match because the shade is completely rubbed off and I can't seem to find a match for her, so I might just keep her around until I do so. So this is an exception that's gonna sit outside of those rules, but I know I can get rid of Forbidden Love. This is this True Red here from Pat McGrath. Keep Guinevere here. Just been keeping this for the packaging, and honestly, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that anymore. I can confidently say that I have also been keeping this around because I paid too much money for it and the packaging. Hopefully that can go to a better home. I'm gonna keep my lip balm. This is the coconut flavor. I'm almost kind of through halfway of it, so I'm happy to report that that will stay outside of this little container situation because it's basically skincare. I use it morning and night. So I do have Velvet Jazz here from Lisa Eldridge, and I'm just gonna compare this to the Guinevere shade from Pat McGrath. They're probably both gonna have a very similar finish, but this is so much newer and this has a little bit more muted pink tones. So pink and mauve tones. So maybe I'll get rid of this and keep this instead. Bond Girl, I'm just not reaching for as much, so maybe she can go Le Rouge in Camille. That will be my like conventional red, as well as Roomba from Ilia. Oh, I just love these dark, bricky, slightly vampy shades. They just look good on my skin tone. Keeping 710 by Melt Cosmetics. I can get rid of Vacay Shine. Definitely keeping Mirage by Dior. She is this perfect pink shade that's very sheer and
Balmy. Kosas, Fringe. See, that's another bricky one, but this has a lot more like brown warm tones to it. Let's see how many can fit. Loving this, loving this. Rouge Cocoa Flash and Board Meeting from Huda Beauty. So I can get rid of this M Cosmetics Morning Mocha. I feel like it would be one or the other of these. This is a little bit lighter, but not by much. Not by much. So the only one that does not fit in here is this bright red. This really bright red. So maybe if I can suss out what to keep in here and what not to. Honestly, either gonna be Ilia's Rimba or Kosas's Fringe. One is definitely more warm tone and lighter, and this is darker and vampier. I'm going to keep the Ilia one. There we have that. Lip Contour in HBIC, this lip liner, which will go with this collection right here. Again, if you're interested in all the things that I actually do own, I advise that you watch the other videos, my other declutters. They go in far more detail into the individual products for better or worse. I am left with one lip palette, which I feel comfortable having still, and then of these that will fit into this candle holder, I will get rid of Hazel. I'm going to keep Autumn and Pumpkin Spice Latte from Buxom, get rid of Spiked Apple Cider, both of these Melts Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. This is Ginger and Chestnut, and then also keep two of these. That means I do have room for this, the Champagne Supernova from Nabla. Joy, just pure joy. I feel so good about this. Oh my god, I had all my lipsticks in this, plus this, plus this, and now I can happily remove the like extras pouch, which is a huge win because I found that I love having things out where I can see them, where I will use them and reach for them. I feel really good about this. This is somehow this is the final category. We've done it. And this is somehow the category that I just don't care that much about. I do not wear foundation every day. I've stopped wearing foundation for the past, I think like 2 or 3 years now. I've gotten away with just concealer thanks to the Glossier Stretch Concealer. My shade is G8. If you haven't tried it or you want to move towards a less intensive makeup solution for yourself every day, I would highly recommend trying something very emulsifying like this, something that has a lot of emollients, as well as find a really good moisturizer for your skin, because keeping my skin replenished, looking its best, plump and kind of glassy to begin with, I found that I was way more confident moving out into the world with having that finish on my skin and then not worrying so much about the discoloration or pigment. And so this kind of changed my life, to be honest. So I want to use the rest of this up. That said, I only need one concealer at a time. And if I want to use this up, then this will go to waste. So I'm going to get rid of the Glossier Stretch Concealer and move into this RMS 22 because I did buy it in my low buy. They're very similar shades. I actually really like this formula more, but it's not clean. It's not non-toxic. This has more grip to it. It does respond better when it's warmed up against the skin. You can already see in the light that this is hitting a lot more shine, and that's because it really does stretch with your skin. I don't find that it has dry patches, and I have really oily skin to begin with, so I don't have to worry so much about dryness. This is nice because it has a little bit of a fuller coverage. So I'm gonna keep this mascara. Because of my lashes, I have very picky specifications when it comes to what can work on my eyelids and eyelashes. I have such oily lids that anything that does not work just does not work in the biggest way. And Ilia has come through again with the Limitless Lash. I got the mini size in like a free, I don't know, I think I used points, Sephora points for this. So I'm gonna use these both up. They're both going back. Same with this Lash Freak by Urban Decay. I know it's not a clean formula, but it's one that I got in like an Ulta try-on and I love it to death. It really pumps up the volume, so to speak. So I'm gonna keep using that. And then this is another hit, the Honest Beauty mascara that has a priming end and then a regular end. It's about $10 cheaper than the Ilia, so this is really nice, but it does take a little bit more to get on in the morning, which I don't love, and it's a little bit harder to take off at night, so this is kind of my if I'm feeling like I have the time, I'll use this up, but I probably just won't buy this again. 2 brow pomades that I have currently. I used to only have the Glossier Boy Brow in black, but then this came as a points reward and it is amazing. I actually really love this and I love it almost more than the Boy Brow. So I use them in tandem. I have this in medium brown and in black respectively. I'm gonna keep both of them, and I'm going to keep my medium brown Anastasia Brow Powder Duo. I feel like I never make a dent in this even though I use it every single day. Also keeping my go-to primer and sunscreen. Sorry, primer and sunscreen. Now, of all the brushes that I have left, I don't really want to put them on the floor. Definitely use some way more than others. So I definitely use this, the Sephora Blender eye brush all the time. I'm going to say goodbye to this Pro Shaper, this Morphe, very stiff brush. I'm going to keep brow brush. I can say goodbye to my Hoola brush, even though I really love her. I just have too many alternatives. Also going to say goodbye to this Bare Minerals crease brush. Maybe I'll keep the 2 travel friendly ones. Okay, these are my brushes. Sorry, sometimes I have to be quiet and be alone with my thoughts and the items and not really narrate what I'm doing as I'm doing it to make sure I have it right. So this is my everyday kit that is going to... Actually, I was taking a look at this row of hair clips here. I actually think I can get rid of a few of these because I have 2 of these somewhere else, so I'll declutter those and keep only 4. Wow, 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 this frees up so much of these extra pouches and bits and bobs. I will try to figure out how to rejig all of this so that it can live happily on my magic cart. I love that. My makeup cart, which is basically magic. And now I will show you. Da-da-da-da. It's so heavy, I can't even like, whoa. Wow, I'm impressed, disgusted, hopeful that this means that I'm going to have just better consumerist habits. Like, the decluttering part is the easier part. This decision-making thing is kind of the showy fun part. The not fun part is actually reckoning with where the stuff goes. I'm going to do my best to give this to people who actually need it, who actually want it, who can safely use it. To me, the hardest part is not buying to replace this stuff, but I'm working on that actively as well with my low buy, just my videos with you. So I'm so excited to report that this is stuff that is going goodbye. And once it does, honestly, I still have not felt any pangs of regret for getting rid of any of the things that I've already gotten rid of. So really, this stuff is going to go to a better home, and I'm not going to get myself into this position anymore. Haha, did you think this was the end? I wanted to do one last overall glance. If you watch Allie Glines, she always, at the end of her makeup tutorial or look, she's like, step back and assess the situation. And I'm 100% on board with that, especially because that approach will help. Sorry, gotta hitch the pants up. It'll help me see everything holistically. Like, I went category by category and I feel really confident and actually a lot more relieved at my collection now that I've gone through that declutter. Since I didn't go through any of my eyeliners or lip liners, I can get rid of Pillow Talk, the burgundy eyeliner. I do like this shade. Mambo is actually better. Here is Pillow Talk. Very chocolate burnt brown, but that Mambo shade has just a touch more chocolate, is darker, and it lasts a long time. She's gotta stay. Despite me running out to grab this, I still, I don't know if I should keep it. No, I'm gonna keep it. I should use it at least one more time before I make that choice. I also don't think that I need the Sunrise one, even though she's so gorgeous. I just don't see myself using it. So maybe those are my palettes and I get rid of Sunrise here. And then I feel pretty good about this. I have quite a few highlighters actually, and not that many bronzers. These two, what's this? Actually, that's perfect. I have one that's kind of red toned. I have one that is very cool toned. And then I have one that's my skin tone, but darker, and it's very yellow. This is Private Island by Fenty. So I think between the 3 of these, I'm covered in the bronzer department and I don't need any of them to be shimmery. At first I was like, I need a shimmery bronzer and a matte bronzer. No, Diana, you have so many highlighters. If you want a sheen, you can use a highlighter on top. So I feel really good about that. And then this is, yeah, my brushes and the rest of this collection. Ugh, I feel like honestly, maybe I don't need to keep both of these. I'm gonna get rid of Gingerbread Man and keep Gingerbread Girl. So let's try 6 months with this. So let's move into my final thoughts. I was contemplating doing a no buy for 2021, but since my low buy right now is going to eclipse 2021 and end in March, I'm not going to do that. I can see that already a low buy has changed my behaviors in some way, but a lot of my rules aren't perfect yet. I haven't really hacked my own personality and found ways to make rules that are both constructive and restrained in the right ways. So I'm going to try a different approach. That's just a little sneak peek for what's coming. Even in, let's say, the time of Vlogmas, which if you don't know, YouTubers and vloggers on YouTube usually do, I think, December 1st all the way up to Christmas, December 25th, and they do a vlog every single day. I'm not quite a vlogger. I do have a couple vlogs up and I've linked them down below, but I might use that time to really ramp up my content and hopefully post a video every day or every other day that has to do with less stuff, with decluttering, with a minimalist lens. We'll see how that goes. So that's also something that's coming up. I wanted to mention Haley Evans here on YouTube. I don't know why I just looked over to my laptop. It's not like her name is up on the screen. I found that she did a 1-year no buy. Basically like Hannah Louise Poston here on YouTube as well. She is quite the OG or quite the lauded YouTuber here that has popularized, I would say she had a huge hand in doing so, popularizing the idea of a no buy, especially around beautiful things, loving beautiful things, overconsumption, and she's really candid, thoughtful, and intelligent when she delivers all of her information. She goes through a lot of things around a no buy. So if you really haven't seen her, I know many of you have, please, please, please take a look. I've linked both Hannah and Haley down below. Anyway, back to Haley. She was referencing something in a video and she couldn't remember the name of the video that she's referencing, so this is a big like mind fuck. But oh, she was watching a YouTube video where it was like a sci-fi dystopian realm and these people could go into these stores to spend literally time off of their life. I assumed didn't know how long they were gonna live in exchange for gifts and little goods that were these plastic orbs of different shapes and colors that were supposed to be comforting. That's the premise. That's all I know. That was me paraphrasing Haley, who is paraphrasing a movie, and already that was enough to give me a whole like smack in the face shock, thinking about what am I doing with my time, my money, both of which are finite. If I were able to recontextualize how I'm using money and literally say that my time is money, I know that's an idiom, but it's so true because I'm working so that I can have money to do this. You get my drift. If I had to give 10 minutes of my life just to exchange it for a Natasha Denona palette of pigments to put on a tiny real estate of my body, just so someone who's viewing me, or I guess when I'm viewing myself, but usually it's outward facing, right? This is something that people will comment on and see and enjoy just as much as maybe I have with the process. Like, this is an outward facing thing. It's a cosmetic thing. It alters me slightly. Maybe enhances my beauty, maybe just makes a creative statement. Is it worth 10 minutes of my entire mortal life here as Diana Chu in this body? I don't think so. So that's going on in my head, and I was like, I have to do a declutter. I'm not respecting my time here on this planet as I should. That's a very selfish way to put it. I could have put it any other way and seemed less selfish, right? I could take the sustainable route, or I could take the idea that like people who are less fortunate could probably have this instead of me, or what have you. Whatever the reasoning is,
I feel like this is the right thing to do. That is the my pearls of wisdom for you during this declutter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy my content and you want to support me in any other way, feel free to buy me a coffee. I've linked that down below if you don't know what that means. Seems like I've linked a lot down below, and I probably have, so go ahead and check it out. I really hope that this video has given you a little bit of solace in this tumultuous time. Even if you're not in the US like I am, I want to say hey and, you know, tell you that I'm a regular person who really cares about the state of our government, but honestly, like, my day-to-day isn't affected as conspicuously as maybe somebody else's by whoever's in the Oval Office, in that big chair. Despite whatever happens, future Diana will know. I really wish that we all take a moment to acknowledge the fear and the hurt and the disgust and frustration that maybe half of this nation will feel. I want us to take a moment to reach out to our neighbors and really listen. I want us to take a moment to reach out to our family and friends, loved ones, and also really listen, but also be the support, the backbone, and be there for each other, especially during these times. So let's lead with love, lead with gratitude. I'm so grateful to be here on this planet, doing this video with you, for you. Please take care of yourself. Thank you for voting if you did. I will see you on my next video. Adios.
Please handle this cider. You got me upside down. Should only feel this much, but in your liquid I drown.